glad to have you here, Kalika. It's a pleasure to have interacted with you over this time. We've been sitting and talking for about 2 days about tech adoption with communities. What do you think are the real challenges that we need to address in this space?
I think there are a couple of things that all of us who are practitioners and even non-practitioners in this area that understand. Biggest challenge I would believe is understanding the community itself and not come from a hammer side and then start looking for nails, but understand the nails and what kind of hammer is needed for it. So if we do a very techno-centric solution where we kind of build the technology first according to how we understand it and then go ahead and look at the community, then obviously there is an adoption problem. It's like I need something, I need water, and you're going to tell me how to bake bread. It's not very helpful. So I think tech adoption begins with having to understand the community and solving the right problem. But then, practically there are a lot of other issues that how do you engage the community? How is your messaging right? Is the technology even appropriate for the problem that you're trying to solve? Is it sometimes it's just too difficult for technology to have anything to do with it? Maybe you need things like policies in place. You need infrastructure in place. 10 years, 15 years ago, if we had gone with smartphone solutions to some of the communities that we work with, it wouldn't have worked because people didn't have smartphones. Now everyone has smartphones. So there are certain things that we need to really understand before we go out there with our hammers and say, okay, show me the nail, kind of a thing.
So what would you think is an appropriate nail that we should be looking at?
So my favorite is language. I'm a language technologist. I'm a researcher in language technology. So my favorite nail is language because I think, the first access point to any technological solution is through language, and we as in this country are lagging behind a lot, and a lot of communities are marginalized because the solution is not available in their own language. It's not that we don't have the solution or we don't have the technology, we just don't have it in the right language, and somehow we don't even understand what the cost is of not having the opportunity cost or even the dollar cost for not having a particular solution in your own language. We use WhatsApp all the time. WhatsApp is a favorite example right now here. But and imagine if you were not able to send message in a language, like you have this WhatsApp on your phone, and what are you going to do with it? You don't know how to send a message because it doesn't work in your language. Anything that comes you can't read because it isn't in your language. Just imagine that kind of a situation, and what would you do then?
So there are two sides to that. I mean, one side is we're talking about the solution itself being sort of more open access, more in a sense putting itself out there in different languages and so on. But you're also talking to communities who might have systemically been excluded. I mean, you were telling me about the Gond community, but I'm assuming maybe even their school isn't in Gondi, and you're dealing with a whole. They may not have sort of words to talk about things like do we have the capacity to include them in how we look at AI or going forward.
So I think a lot of communities, we work with CGNet Swara, which is a citizen journalism portal for the Gond community, and IIIT Naya Raipur, which is in Chhattisgarh. We work very closely with them, and the situation with the Gondi community is that there just isn't content available in Gondi. Forget about digital content, etc. There's very little of that, but even offline content, very little is available for us to use. And these communities have been living in isolation for a long time. And if we don't include these communities into this so-called AI revolution that's happening, or the digital revolution that's happening, they are going to stay marginalized, and there are very great social, political impacts, not only on the community but on the ecosystem in which they live because of this. So, something that we've recently been working with is an Adivasi radio, which allows people to access whatever content is available in Gondi, whatever little is available in Gondi, through their phones, videos, text. They can even send messages to the portal by calling a certain number and recording their voices, etc. So I think they're not like it's not like a healthcare solution that will save a lot of lives, or a very large scale solution, but Gondi is spoken by over 1 million people, and I think preserving and supporting that community is just as important, and technology can actually play a big role in doing that.
So we're looking at the sort of potential of technology to customize and not just to scale, but also, in a sense, the potential of older technologies and different kinds of a basket of technologies, maybe,
absolutely,
to help sort of the catch-up game that some communities will be playing.
Yeah, and it needn't be catch-up. It could be like actually sitting and solving for the community. Something like the Adivasi radio that we're talking about, it allows them to access newspaper in their language, whatever is available. It allows them to access like Pratham books I talked about. There's few Pratham books available in Gondi. It allows them to access Wire puts out a video every week. It allows them to access that. It allows them to access the citizen journalism portal on that. And something like that could work for any community. But the value, because they do not have any other channels to access these things. We have like YouTube, this, that, and the other to access all this information. So, but this could work for us. It's like a hub for your, media access, and it's nothing. There's nothing to say that you can't use it or I can't use it. But the value for this particular community becomes much more.
So how do you think, one last question,
yes,
how do you think we move forward with these? I mean, we know this is necessary. Do we have, say, a market? Do we have other people interested? How do we even maybe get people from within the community, from a Gond community, to say, we need this, we're going to make it happen? What do you think we need to do to get there?
So I think a lot of us know how to make the technological solution. One of the biggest obstacles that we have is data. And I think we all try to kind of shortcut that. We think, can we just get data for free? And there is no data for free. So I think one thing would be how we as a community can think about making data, procuring data, designing data, and making data available for the community at large to be able to use and reuse in different applications and different technologies. I think that would go a long way in making this possible.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.